Hey guys, we're going to discuss what multi-threading is today. Firstly, let's imagine you are writing a Word document, and you are also listening to music on YouTube. The only reason this is possible is because of multi-threading. So what exactly is multi-threading? To understand this question, you first need to understand a bit about a computer's processor. A computer's processor, or central processing unit, is responsible for interpreting instructions. It is the computer's brain, if you like. It has access to the memory and hardware of your computer, but it is very dumb. It needs to be given instructions on what to do. When you type on your keyboard, there is a computer program running on the processor that reads the key you have pressed. Without the CPU, the computer is just a box and nothing more. So now we have covered what a processor is. What is a CPU core? A CPU core is responsible for interpreting the computer's instructions. The more cores a computer has, the more it can do at once. Think of CPU cores as workers that can all do the same thing. One CPU core can only do one thing at a time, but if you have a lot of them, you can do lots of things at once. Let's get back to our writing a Word document and listening to music on YouTube example. Both of these operations are handling lots of tasks. When you write your Word document, it is constantly making sure you have not made a spelling mistake. Your web browser you are watching YouTube is the same browser you may be currently downloading a file on. These programs create what is known as threads, which basically says run this bit of code separately. Think of it as allocating some work to your co-workers in the office. The operating system handles these threads and allocates them to threads on your processor. These threads are then run through a CPU core. The more cores you have, the more code can be run at the same time. So, the threads on your operating system are threads only your operating system is aware of. It will pass the instructions to the real threads on the processor. The threads on a processor are basically virtual CPU cores that pass data to the real CPU core. Finally, the CPU core is responsible for interpreting the instructions given to it, and the more CPU cores you have, the more you can process at the same time. So then, what happens if you only have one CPU core? If you only have one CPU core, your computer will still give the illusion it is doing more than one thing at once. This works due to task switching. Each thread in the computer's operating system will be allocated with a given time frame before it quickly switches to the next thread. This happens so fast that a human cannot notice it, and this gives the illusion of multi-threading. You know when things aren't quite going fast enough when you notice your computer freeze for a second or so. Multi-threading is not automatic, and a software developer will have to program their software to make use of this powerful functionality and allow their software to perform multiple tasks at the same time. Software developers do this by creating threads in the operating system. Remember, there are operating system threads which pass data to CPU threads, which finally pass data to CPU cores. The point of multi-threading is to allow more than one thing to happen at the same time in a computer system, and allows increased performance as multiple cores can share the workload. In the next video, we will discuss how to protect yourself from possible problems that can happen when creating threads. This next video will discuss mutexes. I hope you found this useful.